Checking in with now Quincy City Council President, Ward 3 City Councilor Ian Kane to get an update on the January 22nd City Council meeting. Hey, Ian.
Hey, Joe. Good morning.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. We look forward to continuing the tradition of checking in with the City Council President the morning after the meetings. So,
Yeah, happy to be here and happy to continue the tradition.
yeah, how was your first meeting as president?
Painless. It was good.
Uneventful?
Yeah, it was uneventful. We had a number of administrative items that we passed, a number of orders, and a couple of resolves that were introduced. So nothing earth-shattering or groundbreaking, but nice to step into the role with such ease.
Any changes to assignments, clerk of committees, or things of that nature that we should know about?
No changes in assignments. So Jen Manning, who's been the clerk of committees for, I believe, 10 years, I think it was a term just before I had joined, will continue on as the clerk of committees. So yeah, that was the only appointment we made last night.
Okay. Have the committee assignments been made yet, Ian, or how does that process work?
Yeah, they have. So I outlined them. Of course, you asked me. I'm going to have to pull up a document so I can share with you. But yeah, I have made those, and they will be. I think they were revealed in the Quincy Sun. I can tell you who they are right now if you can give me a second.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, bully for the sun, but we want to have it too.
Yeah, of course.
Bob and I go way back. So.
But for Finance Committee, Councilor McCarthy is going to be the chair. For Oversight, Councilor DeBona, and for Ordinance, Councilor Liang. And so for Finance, Councilor McCarthy, Vice Chair, Councilor Liang, Ordinance, Councilor Liang, Vice Chair, Councilor DeBona, Oversight, Councilor DeBona, and Vice Chair, Councilor Devine. And those are the three 9-member committees of a whole.
Right. Okay. I know they're very small committees as well, so we won't get into the weeds if you don't want to.
That's fine. Yeah, but those are the most prominent posts.
Sure. So, before we talk a little bit about the meeting, do you have any kind of goals or and I don't want to say agenda, but things you'd like to accomplish during your next 2 years as council president?
Yeah, I consider this largely a role of facilitation. So, I'm working on behalf of my colleagues. So I'm not really setting an agenda, but I'm there to help advance their agendas, right? I mean, the mission remains the same, represent the interests, myself as a ward councilor and others as more representative of residents as a whole, as the citywide or at-large councilors. And so every one of us brings something different to the table, and I feel that we're even just this early days, I can feel sort of this strong cohesive energy that's forming that I think will be productive for working relationships, especially with the mayor. So I think it's good to be in a position to regularly meet with the mayor and to be able to help set the agenda and to liaise the issues that my colleagues in the city council, who have of course similar access to the mayor, but can certainly help advocate for things that we wish to advance on behalf of the city.
Yeah, 3 new councilors joining the council, of course, Richard Ash, Dan Minton, Scott Campbell. Any advice for them now being one of the senior members yourself?
We had a new counselor training, quote unquote, a couple of weeks ago, and we spoke then about sort of how to handle the roles. I think the counselors are they're all familiar with the city and how it operates. They've been involved in various capacities. Councilor Ash has come from the business community. He's a practicing attorney and has worked with the Chamber of Commerce. Scott Campbell is no stranger to politics himself, and also I think most recently served in the Public Housing Board, Quincy Housing Authority Board. Right. And then Councilor Minton, he's part of the public safety, so working with QPD for many years. So my colleagues are no strangers to how the city operates, and I think that's their unique perspectives and experience will lend great value, and they'll pick up on the nuances. I think there's this level of attribution and accumulation of just sort of getting to know the space just by way of doing it. And so, this was a good last night. I think a good first meeting to get them primed, and I'm sure they're in fine positions. I don't need to be giving them advice. They're adults.
I assume that being a retired police lieutenant, Dan Minton's on the public safety committee.
Yeah, actually, public safety. He is on the public safety committee. Councilor Harris is the chair of that. I think Councilor Harris had been the chair and wanted to continue in that capacity there. So,
okay. So Ian, can you tell me about the two resolutions that were introduced last night, please?
Yeah, so Councilor Liang brought two resolutions back from last council session. So the first was a resolve seeking a citywide review of the existing zoning codes. So this is, this is something that we had talked about last year, and the order or the resolve passed unanimously. So, there's certainly interest from all of my colleagues to explore, especially as the city continues to go through more real estate development in different sectors, and making sure that we are adequately putting or allowing for that development to take place in places that are not only preferable for residents that have lived here for a very long time and don't want to necessarily see their quality of life change, but preferable for those developers that seek to add components to the city and how it can fit well. So, and there's a tax component, I think, to this too. I think Councilor Liang has been strident in trying to figure out how we can reduce the residential tax burden. And I think that's going to be a complicated equation as well. But this is certainly a worthwhile effort. And again, this is just a resolve, so it's an expression of interest to the various departments who were suggested. So that's the mayor's office and planning department, the planning board, inspectional services, and what have you, so that we can start to look at a more comprehensive reevaluation of zoning code.
Yeah, have you had any response from the administration with regards to this? Do you think there'll be any additional funding required to do it, or bringing in outside consultants, things of that nature?
I would assume that this would require some outside funding. I have not communicated, I haven't heard anything about this, but my assumption would be that this would require a third party to do some sort of study and then provide a recommendation, to the city and to these various groups and to the city council on what we could potentially do.
Sure. Okay. And then kind of a similar zoning issue, if you will, adopting the state's specialized stretch code. And it has nothing to do with calisthenics.
No, it has nothing to do with calisthenics. But apparently this is around energy, code for energy efficient buildings. So I guess this is more around compliance. And we had adopted a stretch code in 2010. So, and I guess what the stretch code sort of emphasizes is energy performance rather than requires to result in cost-effective construction. And it's tied into a whole number of different state and municipal acts that have been adopted over the years, I guess since 2008, starting with the Green Community Act, and most recently as 2021 around the Climate Act, which required development of a new municipal opt-in specialized energy code known as the Specialized Code. So there could be, for people to, I guess, opt into this stretch code as they make as new construction, or sort of there's augmentations of their residential commercial properties. There's a potential for cost savings. So again, this is just a recommendation to various departments, including the mayor's office and the planning department, inspectional services, et cetera, to look into these benefits of adopting the stretch code to the city.
Okay. Did the resolve pass?
It did. It unanimously passed. And I think, smartly, my colleagues recognize that this could also be a potential, there could also be negative effects to implementing this for residents if they are forced to put up money to make these energy efficient, requirements to their dwellings or to their commercial properties. So, but of course, worthy of exploration. And that's the whole point of this resolve.
Sure. Okay. Very good. A couple of orders, I guess we should talk about from the mayor's office regarding the conveyance of the property at McGrath Highway.
So we voted an order, so basically enabling the mayor to sign off on the disposition or sale of this property at 6 to 10 McGrath Highway, which is the building adjacent to the north to the Quincy City Courthouse. And this was a building that was acquired by the city at the end of 2022 for $1.8 million. And I think at the time the mayor had intended to operate that building for meetings for people with substance use disorder and the like as another community property. However, the state has come in and said, we're going to use that property when we decide to rehabilitate or to reconstruct the courthouse. So essentially, this is just putting money back into the city, which was put out, not too long ago. It's the same amount, and we enabled the mayor to do so. So the city will be compensated for that conveyance.
Okay, so okay, 1.8 million, I think, was the sale price, and will be the sale price back to the state. But does that money come back as into the general fund, Ian, or does that go? Because I think it was stimulus money that was used to buy it.
Oh, that's a great question. So if that's my assumption, but I don't quote me. If that's the pocket it came from, I would assume that it would go back into that. But maybe there's something different. I don't know. I'd have to talk to the auditor or to Eric Mason about that.
Okay, very good. That was unanimous also.
That was also unanimous. Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, we moved a couple of pieces of appropriation for the Mass School Building Authority ARP funding for some roofs and some boiler replacements at 3 elementary schools in the city. So there's a roof replacement for Montclair and Wollaston schools, Ward 3, and then Parker Elementary School as well, which I think is Ward 1. But yeah, those are obviously needed things. So happy those were all unanimous. Happy to move those forward.
Great. I'm glad you're telling me about that, because that's real community information that folks, I think, should know. So
Oh yeah, no, yeah. The money goes to very good and useful things, and those are very important projects for the schools, for the kids, for the teachers, for whomever. So
absolutely. Next council meeting is when?
February 5th, 6:30, Monday, February 5th at 6:30.
Okay, very good. Maybe we can check in on the 6th if that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll see you same time, same channel.
Okay. Good to talk to you and appreciate it. Hopefully we can get you here in studio pretty soon too.
Yeah, we will. We will. Thanks, Joe.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.